Hey, what's up guys, Tony here, and I'm going to bring you some more cherry poppin' tips on Air Superiority Mode here in Battlefield 3. Now, what I've noticed is a consistent theme of, hey look, there's too many heat seekers, you know, it's just like a heat seeker fest. And that's kind of the nature of the game, the game mode as it is, but there's ways to combat that, and here's what I found out through playing Air Superiority Mode. I feel like I should translate that to you because friends that I have who are admittedly not good at flying jets are starting to have success playing Air Superiority Mode after taking some advice from like myself or Billy the Kid, who's a good jet pilot. So here's what I've learned, and I'm going to touch on my last video really quickly. Just a reminder, the service ceiling is 500 feet, so beware of the service ceiling. It's always should be in the forefront of your mind as you're flying. And basically, it's just a little bit above the blimps. You see those, you know, the objective blimps. Just try not to fly too much higher than those, and you'll be okay. Now, here's the thing: is the loadout is kind of what the key is. What I've been using is beam scan, flares, and heat seekers. And so, what I do, my tactic is to launch some heat seekers at distance while I'm coming in, and then go in for the guns, and really don't bother with the heat seekers. So I found that while I'm playing, I really need to use my guns more often, and I'm actually finding myself running dry, but I'm also finding that I'm getting locked on and shot, and I'm just like, okay, this is not working for me. So what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to be testing out the belt speed, because the beam scan for me, like I said, it's just not working, and it still takes a long time. Well, a long time is a relative term, but it just still takes time to lock up, and sometimes you might lock up on one or two different targets and you're like, okay, this is not what I want. I want something that's quick so I can get moving. So what I would urge you guys to do is to sort of wean yourself off of the missiles and learn how to use the guns. The guns will save your life. The guns will get you quicker kills and allow you to move on to targets, because if you're going to sit there trying to lock up on one guy, you're going to be a very slow, stable target for someone who's good at guns to come in and just annihilate you. So learn how to use your guns. That's really what I can stress right now, is just learn how to use your guns. So going back on that, what I'm going to try to do is two things. I'm going to try belt speed and stealth. Now, I've never really used stealth before just because I never felt that I needed it. Plus air radar takes up my first slot for normal flying, and so I'm going to try those two the first loadout spots with either belt speed or stealth. Now here's what I can say: those two loadout spots, they'll depend on what kind of pilot you are. If you're a new pilot, I think you should use stealth. Just go with stealth. Don't worry about belt speed, because you're not gonna be effective with your guns right now, and you're gonna have to get good at using your guns. So try stealth out if you're really having a problem with lock-ons and getting shot by heat seekers, you know, because it is a problem. But again, it's a part of the game, and you know, all of us sort of I guess our old grizzled aces of Battlefield 3 don't really like this lock-on fest, but it's sort of the nature of the beast, and you really have to adapt or, you know, get blown out of the sky. So I'm really kind of pushing for belt speed more, but I'm having a feeling, because I really don't run out of ammo that much, so I'm kind of running this spot where I know in the back of my mind I don't run out of, you know, cannon ammo very much, and I don't really use missiles very often. So stealth actually might be the best way to go for an average all-around player. If you find that you run out of ammo constantly and you're putting a lot of bolts on people but you're not getting kills, and you're like, oh my gosh, I've run dry, and missiles aren't an issue, try belt speed and go from there. I'm finding that beam scanning is just, it's not really a viable first slot. You might want to just chuck that one. If you like it and you use it, go for it. It's just, for me, and in the way that I like to play, it's not really effective. And I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen, but the more I played, actually, so my initial thought was that, you know, I would be able to use beam scanning to be great, and I'd be able to, you know, shoot off missiles quickly. But it's not the case, and so I'm moving towards belt speed and probably more towards stealth than anything else. As far as the countermeasures, I've heard people have a lot of success with extinguishers. I don't really personally use them. I don't really have a reason for it. I just never really liked them, because I would prefer to evade missile hits than take, you know, 60% damage and have them fire off automatically. That's just the way I am. Because, you know, you don't get disabled. So it's really to each their own for the countermeasures, so go with whatever you like. Again, the last thing I want to talk about, just really quickly touching on this, I have noticed that a lot of really good players fly low and they attack high. Now this is counterintuitive to if you've played flight simulators before, or like say War Thunder or any of these other games where it's sort of a sort of pseudo arcade flight simulator, because Battlefield is clearly not a flight simulator. So it's got, you know, universal physics for all jets, and so all jets operate pretty much the same way, even though I personally think the F-18 turns tighter than the Su-35, but that's just my personal opinion. Anyways, usually the idea is to attack high and come down upon targets. The problem though is when everyone spawns in, you're spawning about mid-altitude, and so everyone starts taking shots at you from long range from the heat seekers. So suddenly you're finding yourself being locked on. What I started to do is I started to fly low and attack high, and if someone starts getting on my tail, I'll go low and I'll fly low near buildings or objects or whatever. And usually because there's so many targets in the sky, people will peel off like, oh, okay, I'm not going to chase this guy, he's going to fly near trees and stuff, I don't want to crash, especially if they're not confident in their flying abilities. Now when you've got a confident pilot on your ass, he's going to shoot you down. You know, I mean, you can do what you can to wiggle and you might get away, and sometimes you will because there's no air radar, and once they lose visual sight of you, it's really not beneficial to anyone's their best interest in to continue to dogfight with you, because then they become a sitting target for anyone who's going to be shooting missiles at long range. So flying, maneuvering, and just being mobile, like I said in the first video, is very much a benefit, and it's a great tactic to have. Try not to stay in one position, you know, go from objective to objective, look for stragglers, that's another key thing. If you find guys by themselves, go there. Try not to put yourself right into the middle of a furball unless you have a plan. If you're coming in and you're flying low and you see someone you want to attack, you go in, you attack that target, and then you get out of there and you move out and you sort of try to always assess the situation. I mean, you might find guys coming in, you might take one guy out, you make a left-hand turn, there's another guy, you shoot that guy, and you'll turn to the right, you'll see another guy, you'll shoot that guy. Those sort of like bam, 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 those quick engagements do happen, but try not to stay in one spot like flying in circles, doing barrel rolls, you know, over the objective. It's just not going to be beneficial for you. So try that out. If you're not comfortable flying that low, just try to stay lower and attack high. Don't get on the surface of the ground, you know, because there are some trees you can fly through. Be aware of that. On Operation Riverside, you can actually fly through some of those trees. Some of them you can't, I've heard, but the trees that I've flown through, I'm like, okay, cool, I know that how I can fly through these trees. So try that out. That's pretty much all I have for you today. Just to kind of go over it again, be wary and be mindful of that service ceiling at 500 feet. It's just a little bit above the balloon, so watch out for that. If you're having a hard time with heat seekers, try stealth out, or perhaps try belt speed. Well, the heat seekers, for heat seeking problems, try stealth out first. If that doesn't seem to fix your problem, try flying low, attacking high, try a different tactic. Try not to fly at the same level everyone else is going to be starting out at, because that's just going to be asking to be shot at. If you're a guy or a girl who feels confident with your guns and you find you're running dry, try belt speed out. It might help you out. Like I said, I'm going to be giving that a try, and I'm going to be giving stealth a try. The way I see it, the way I play, I'm leaning towards the stealth right now more than belt speed, but I'm going to try them both out to get, you know, a good idea of which one seems to work with me best. Because I do, like everyone else, I find that there are times where heat seekers are a problem for me, and I have to adjust my gameplay accordingly when there's just a heat seeker fest. You know, if I'm just getting locked on, you know, 3 or 4 lives in a row, I'm like, I got to get out of here. I got to get low. I got to just get away. That's the best way to do that. And then the last thing is, like I said, fly low, attack high. Try not to be on that eye level, that 300 to 400 foot level. You know, try to save 100, 200 feet. And just because people are looking up towards the sky, and if you're flying low, you're kind of hard to spot, especially if you're in the Su-35. It's a brownish colored aircraft. The F-18s are really easy to see on the bottom when you're flying low. If you're above them, that's beneficial for the Su-35 pilots. But again, a lot of people are just they got their eyes on the horizon and above it, looking for targets, easy targets. That's kind of the thing, easy targets. I guess the last thing I can mention right now, if you're gonna use heat seekers, pick off the weak targets. You're gonna see those people. If you see people losing their flares, or you see people launching ECM, go after those guys. They're easy kills because they've already used their countermeasures. And if you're in missile range, if not, I mean, hey, if you're in gun range, get on their butt. You know, just avoid the other guys in the sky. That's really the only other thing I could tell you guys. Be aware of your position on the battlefield and try not to run into your fellow teammates. If someone is already attacking a target, let that target go, find someone else, because there's plenty of jets out there to shoot down. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys in the air, and I'll talk to you guys later.